Welcome back. Now, if you have ever wondered why your skin becomes extra dry and flaky in winter, then this next interview is for you. Skin Functional's latest article aims to answer all these questions by explaining what your microbiome is and how this relates to exfoliating, as well as essentials, acids in exfoliation and how to use them. Well, Dr. Laura Knight is a board-certified dermatologist and advisor to Skin Functional, and she joins us now on Zoom to tell us more. Dr. Knight, a very good morning to you. Welcome to Morning Live. Let's start with understanding why our skin becomes extra dry and flaky in winter.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me join you this morning. So the skin is really a complicated ecosystem that starts really with our microbiome on the top and then the various layers of our skin, being your outermost layer, your stratum corneum, and then there's a few layers within your epidermis, which is the upper layer of our skin. So it obviously becomes a bit drier in winter as the temperature drops. We're using more indoor heating systems. And so this kind of transepidermal water loss increases as we lose water from within the skin to the outer environment. Naturally, as this environment dries out our skin, the outer protective layer, or your stratum corneum, becomes a bit more leaky, if you will. So we lose a lot of this fluid from inside our cells. And then this contributes to our skin being a bit dry, flaky, looking dull. Added to that,
Go right ahead.
Added to that, as we age, naturally, the skin turnover, moving from the lower part of the epidermis to the outer stratum corneum, slows down. So coupled with a bit of a change in environment, aging, your skin generally looks a bit more dry, lackluster, and dull, and you kind of lack that glowy feeling that we're all looking for.
Now, break down what exfoliation is, for the benefit of those that may not be familiar with the term.
100%. So exfoliation is really, simply put, the turning over or the removing of the outer layer of our skin. So our skin does this naturally. It cycles from the bottom layer of our epidermis up to this top layer, or the stratum corneum. And this happens usually in a time of about 4 to 6 weeks. So that's happening naturally in our skin. And then you would have heard that there's different ways we can exfoliate. So whether it be chemical or physical exfoliation. And physical exfoliation is commonly what most people are more familiar with. The idea of using a scrubbing brush, scrubbing glove, even, just a thicker cloth to kind of brush off that top layer of the skin to help the natural process of the skin, or stimulate and speed up that natural turnover of the skin. But this can also be done with chemical exfoliation. And this is what us, as dermatologists and at Skin Functional, actually prefer, the chemical exfoliation. This is a means of exfoliation that's a bit more gentle and actually works on a cellular level to snip the connections between the cells, enhancing this turnover. It's a little bit less irritating on your skin, less risk of damaging your barrier, stripping your microbiome, and causing that inflammation that we're not wanting. So it's a way of supporting our natural exfoliation, our natural skin process, but also looking after your skin, and the idea of doing more good than harm. So it falls into our Skin Functional idea of skin intelligence. We want to use products intelligently to enhance that underlying concern or enhance our underlying skin processes.
And I've seen a lot of products that are, deemed as natural on the market. I've seen the brown sugar. I've seen, lemon. In terms of that, and because there's so much information out there as well, how do we navigate around it?
That's why we kind of started our Skin Chat series, because the skincare world is actually a minefield. We're bombarded by media, social media, what every skinfluencer is doing. And it's hard for the consumer and the fellow skincare lover to navigate. A lot of people are under this assumption that natural is better. And there are certain elements where we want something to be natural. But there's also a role for, more chemically formulated. We know that there's testing around products. And more of the non-natural chemical products actually undergo more stringent testing, so we know they're safe. Your kind of brown sugar is going to be a rough texture, so more of a physical exfoliant. But the extent or how you use that brown sugar could potentially be harmful or damaging to your skin. So we're asking consumers or, beauty, skincare lovers to, check the credentials of who you're following, join us on our Skin Chats, ask brands these questions, ask them, are they natural? Are they, I think more important than are they natural, what is the evidence behind the product? Are they safe? Are they cruelty-free? Are they vegan? Are they fragrance-free? So that's what I think is more the importance rather than focusing on natural. Natural is not necessarily always better.
Mm-hmm. And how much of, in women, for instance, how much of, as you grow older, your hormones have to do with how your skin also grows as well? How much of that is a factor as we grow older?
I mean, it's a huge factor. We see it, especially in women will present to me and say, I had acne as a teenager. Why, as a 30-year-old, 40-year-old woman, am I presenting with acne again? And yes, we realize that our hormones fluctuate, at the onset of puberty, throughout our cycle, and then as we age, go into menopause. And this hormone has an influence on not only our microbiome, on our pigment cells, on the natural texture of our skin, our pilosebaceous unit with that kind of oil follicle, that determines how the skin is turning over, how these melanocytes or our pigment-giving cells are functioning, how your sebaceous gland is functioning. And that kind of environment that's generated on a cellular and anatomical level then also influences this microbiome. So, I mean, our hormones have got a huge, huge role to play, so something to be cognizant of. But if you're not getting under control in your skin, coupled with abnormal menstrual cycles, difficulties falling pregnant, those are kind of things where we're wanting you to realize that your skincare concern could be part of a greater problem and then to seek help.
Mm-hmm. And diet as well. What are some of the major factors that contribute to our skin? Because I will say, I recently discovered that, my skin does not like dairy, and I've been eating dairy all my life, and then suddenly dairy does not like me and it's affecting the skin on my face. How much do we know about diet and how much it contributes to our skin?
So diet is always a controversial one, and I think people are always quite polarized as to yes, there's evidence, or no, there's evidence diet is or isn't a factor in our skin. And I think it would be silly to say diet has no influence on our skin. And this is where we kind of, if I quote pure evidence, there's many things that, we know acne is only affected really by steroids, whey protein, anabolic steroids, skim milk, eczema. They've kind of thrown out the diet debate and saying that it's not really linked to diet. But patients and people do complain that, like you're saying, there's certain things you eat that do flare your skin. So, I mean, what I typically say to my patients is, I'm not going to tell you to do a restrictive diet, to skip on certain food groups. My advice would be to know yourself, know what you're eating, know how it influences. And I think to work with integrative medicine specialists that can address your dietary elements, your skincare, your potential, because we definitely know that there's a huge influence between our skin and gut axis. So very, very important, but I don't think I would say blanket practice exclusion diets in order to improve your skin. We want you to be eating a healthy, balanced diet with elimination of things that you find to be your particular triggers.
Yeah, and is there such a thing as over-exfoliating?
100%. So people often feel like if I'm going to exfoliate, I need to have this peeling, desquamating, so my skin must look red, inflamed, and flaky. Then I know I've exfoliated. And we don't want that. Your skin doesn't need to peel, to flake, to be exfoliated. And that's actually just doing more damage, where you're stripping your microbiome, you're making that whole ecosystem unhappy. You're also potentially even tearing or breaking your skin. So basically, my simple rule is anything you're doing at home with an exfoliator should not be at a percentage, at a concentration, in a combination that's causing peeling, stripping of your skin. Yes, you might go in salon and have a treatment that does typically peel, but that's going to be at higher concentrations than you are buying over the counter or using in your kind of skincare shelfie. So yes, you can actually over exfoliate, and that is more damaging than not exfoliating. So a healthy skin is a glowing skin, a happy skin, not a red, angry, inflamed, flaky skin.
We're all fighting for the glow. The glow is the ultimate. Now, what is the standard in skincare routine for people? When the dermatologists will all say there's a sunscreen is very important. But for you, what are the go-to 4 steps for every single skin around the world?
100%. And I really think simple is better. Identify your skincare concern, your skincare goal, and we build from there. So, I mean, everybody is generally using a wash, and your wash should be very basic. You don't need to spend money on your cleanser. Your cleanser needs to be a gentle cleanser that's not stripping your microbiome. That's simply removing your makeup, removing your sunscreen, removing the kind of impurities and exposomes that you've been exposed to during the day. Then in the morning, I always say to people, your routine really, really should be including a vitamin C. Vitamin C, you're wanting it to be a L-ascorbic acid, at least a 10%, coupled often with a CE ferulic, and that's your antioxidant fighter, setting your skin up to prevent any further damage that's going to happen to the day. So Skin Functional has got an amazing vitamin C serum, which is definitely got all the right components that I've mentioned in that kind of long thing to remember. It's affordable, fantastic, going to be doing all the right things for you. Then you can use a moisturizer if you need. Otherwise, your sunscreen could also double as your moisturizer. And we're wanting your sunscreen to be at least a SPF 30. You need to apply it every day, irrespective of if it's sunny, rainy, you're going outside, you're not going outside, and then reapply during the day. Nighttime, you're going to wash again. I usually say to people, it's really nice if you're concerned about anti-aging to add a retinol in to your routine. And retinol is fantastic in that there's various formulations of the vitamin A. So you could really start at a low concentration, the idea being that you want to build up a tolerance. So retinol is something that can also damage your skin if you go in too high too quickly. So build up, start at a low percentage, retinaldehyde, and build yourself up. And like, again, the Skin Functional range does that very nicely with the various concentrations of your retinol to build up your tolerance. And then a good moisturizer at night that's locking in that hydration, supporting your skin barrier. And I would say that's kind of where you start.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you've got specific skincare concerns or conditions that we're needing to add a more targeted routine, then you slot in your more treatment-related products.
All right. Dr. Knight, thank you so much for the insightful conversation. Thank you so much for talking to us. That's a board-certified dermatologist, Dr. Lauren Knight, and she's been chatting to us about exfoliation and how to do it the right way. Yes, there is such a thing as over-exfoliating. All right, quick ad break. We're back after this. Stay with us.